pure white
Mm-hmm.
male Akita. He's about 95 pounds now. He's a big boy,
Wow.
but
But we were just talking earlier because I just got a dog myself, and he's an English bulldog, and he's
mm,
only 6 months old, and he is like a stitch over the heart. And it's the best thing you could have. Animals, they give you such unconditional love, and they're
hmm
the greatest, and they're. I find them better to be better than people a lot of the times, and you can love them
most
so
times.
much, because they just want your love and want to give it and receive it,
Yeah,
and there's nothing purer than that. And at
absolutely.
least now, if you happen to hit another significant other not moving in, you now have Gabriel that you can get
True,
through it with, and that's
true.
always like, at least you have
My
that.
security blanket
So
that's alive.
will you be taking your live security blanket on the road with
Oh
you for
yeah.
Uproar?
Oh
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna take my girl and her two dogs too, which are now my dogs.
Right.
Our little furry family.
Yes.
Take them on the road.
So Uproar, let's talk about that too. 'Cause that's going to be coming up really soon. It's Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, Stone Sour,
Hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah, Hail the Villain, Airborne. It's
Hailstorm.
Hailstorm. So it's a really good rock tour, and it's kind of like almost like a back to schoolish kind of. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's coming. It's not in the middle of the summer, in the middle of that insane heat that we're dealing with right now. What are you most looking forward to, about this tour, and what can fans expect from Disturbed's live set? Are you gonna yank out some old ones you haven't played in a long time, or a lot
Well,
of new songs?
unfortunately, we only have a 60-minute set
Oh yeah,
because
only
it's
an
a
hour,
festival tour.
right? Yeah, because there's a lot of other bands.
Right.
Sure.
We'd normally go an hour and a half, hour
Mm-hmm.
45, but so we have to respect the catalog
Right.
somewhat.
Sure.
And but there'll definitely be some new songs in there. There's definitely going to be a couple surprises as far as older material.
Mm-hmm.
And from a production perspective, we've been assembling the production elements for the live show for the past couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be very theatrical. It is going to be very stimulating visually, and a look from the band that no one has ever seen before at a Disturbed concert.
Really?
So we're really, really excited about it.
Wow, so that's definitely a teaser if I've ever heard one.
Yes.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys on Uproar. And then one other question I'd just like to ask you, where we've been asking, a lot of bands. Tell me about a defining moment in your life that has affected you in the band. Just something that maybe has happened to you as a kid, or in your teen years, that went on to kind of like define you and where you got to today with your music. Is there anything that kind of made you realize, hey, I want to shave my head, get the double the bray, and quit my job? Was there anything that happened that made you know you wanted to go down this road to be, in a band?
It would probably be the very first night I was able to sneak out of my parents' house at 12 years old, and
I'm trying to picture a 12-year-old David Draymond. What did he look like?
David Draymond at 12 years old was a good little Orthodox Jewish boy.
Right, of course.
So I was wearing the yarmulke
Right,
and the
right.
whole 9 yards.
Do you have the
and
curls too? Or
I
no?
never
Is
had
that-
the curls.
Mhm.
I did when I was bar mitzvahed. I wore a hat and
Whole 9 yards?
Yeah, but never did the curls. Never had the payas. I have my relatives on my father's side are Hasidic Orthodox people, so I do come from that. In fact, that's where they say I get my voice from, because nobody in my family can really sing.
Right.
But my great-grandfather on my father's side was the head cantor of one of the largest synagogues in Jerusalem.
Wow.
And he's who they say I get
That
the voice
would
from.
seem like a logical,
Yeah.
point A to point B,
Yeah.
right? That's where you got it from. Wow.
But I snuck out of the house, on a Friday night. It was the Sabbath. I wasn't supposed to go out. and,
Uh-oh.
I was already showing a little bit of rebellion
Right,
at that
of
age.
course.
And went to the Metro downtown Chicago, which was then called the Cabaret Metro before they had lost that moniker. And just saw some local punk band who was doing like Ramones covers and Misfits covers and some of their own original material. I caught the tail end of the set and caught about 6 or 7 songs, and I was immediately just enraptured
Hooked,
with it.
right.
Just like, oh my God, look at this energy and the exchange between the band and the crowd and the way it seemed like they felt. They looked so happy
Right.
and so full of life, and they were just bringing this simple, wonderful music to people, and it was so pure. And I immediately, even though I always had music in me, and ever since childhood, I was actually trained as a cantor, and so I had been singing during all of my childhood, but that really, really grabbed me.
Right.
And it was from then on that all throughout high school, from as I traveled from one boarding school to another, I always had a band. And whether it was big or small, it started out just a punk rock band, and I ended up segueing into more of like a classic rockish type of thing, and had never done metal up until Disturbed.
Right.
I had never even tried to fit my voice to it.
Right.
The band that I was involved in prior to Disturbed was more like almost Chili Peppers, Faith No More style.
Kind of like a little funk rock element,
funk rock.
Right?
Yeah, which is where a lot of my rhythmic sensibility started to develop.
Right, sure.
But it was really their aggression and the tonality of what they did that brought out different sides to me, and that I adapted some of the rhythmic delivery to their rhythmic music. I always felt that it should be an element that doesn't compete with the rest of the rhythms, but enhances them.
Right. It should be like layered almost.
Right.
And then my only other question for you before we let you go, because I know it's been a very long day for you. How does like you said, you came from, I guess, a pretty orthodox, conventional family. How does the Draymond family feel about their son and their cousin, uncle, whatever, being a rock star playing aggressive, heavy music?
It's incredibly ironic that I left a former life being a healthcare administrator. I used to run skilled nursing facilities.
Wow.
To go do this, and let me tell you, it was met with a lot of condemnation by my family.
Opposition, sure.
Yes. In fact, my grandfather and I on my father's side didn't speak for 2 years because of it.
Really?
So it was really a dramatic thing for them because here I was successful and making my 6-figure salary and had the company car, company phone, and potential for a future in the business.
Right. All the things that people aspire to, American dream, right?
But lo and behold, the success that has been brought from this band has led to me being able to really help my family out time and time again, and been a very strong sense of support for them, and they've really come full circle. It's ironic how success seems to make everything okay.
Right, of
course.
But
even beyond that, they've developed an appreciation for the music.
Right.
As our music has developed and matured over the course of the career, they've kind of grown with it.
And it kind of feels like Disturbed has that ability to kind of be something that people can, it doesn't really have an age or a time,
it's a wonderful
capsule.
Part of it.
You guys make music that's melodic and aggressive and catchy, so it kind of shows that it transcends.
Thank God.
Yeah, so Asylum, the new album, is coming out August 31st, correct?
Yes.
I want to make sure I got the exact date right. You guys will be on Uproar for the from summer and late summer into fall, and we're excited for you guys to have a really great new album cycle, and we hope to have you back again.
And we look forward to coming.
Well, thank you for taking time to hang out with us today.
My pleasure.
And thanks for everybody else out there who is watching this episode of The Creep Show.